Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Script Note Show. So, a couple weeks ago, Apple decided to make a foray into the services industry when normally they've always kind of more dealt with hardware, but recently the company's caught some flack for kind of peaking when it comes to hardware, according to some analysts, particularly with the iPhone. So, Apple decided to jump into services with their Apple News Plus subscription service, Apple Arcade, Apple TV, getting into their own original content programming. But the one that kind of caught a lot of people's eye is Apple decided to jump into the credit card industry. So, according to Mac Rumors, this summer Apple is planning on launching a new credit card that's linked to both Apple Pay as well as being built right into the Wallet app, which will allow iPhone users to directly sign up for from their phones. Apple will be partnering with Goldman Sachs for the card with optimizations for using Apple Pay, but will also include a traditional physical card for transactions. Per Apple, signing up for the Apple Card should be relatively painless, like they've tried to do with a lot of their products, and it should just be a matter of opening your Wallet app, clicking on the card interface, and proceeding from there. Availability will be subject to credit approval just like any other credit card, but of course, should you be approved, you should be able to start using the card immediately for digital purchases. For traditional purchases, you'll still need to wait for Apple to ship you the physical Apple Card. Similarly to other credit and debit cards stored on the Wallet app, you'll be able to use it for all related Apple Pay transactions, including on your iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and Mac. If you need to make purchases at locations that don't accept Apple Pay, you'll be able to use the physical card. Apple did partner with MasterCard, and of course, given MasterCard's availability around the world, it should be able to be used pretty much everywhere. Now, when it comes to the physical card design, as we all know, Apple likes to make their products one of a kind as much as possible. The physical card will actually be a titanium design, keeping up with the recent trend of metallic credit cards, kind of like similarly to the Chase Sapphire product lineup. The card will also be laser etched with your name. In a focus on privacy, the card's front does not have a card number or an expiration date listed, and on the back, there's no CVV and no signature to worry about either. So that way, if someone does happen to find or steal your physical card, they'll have difficulty using it, at least when it comes to online purchases. Of course, there's still the usual mag stripe on the back, as well as a built-in chip for purchases that might happen to require chip and PIN. And of course, should you find yourself needing to complete a transaction that requires the actual card number and CVV code, those can be found within the Wallet app. And now we're going to take a break and thank our first sponsor. Welcome back. So, just some quick credit card basics with the Apple Card. When it comes to credit limits, as with any typical credit card, credit limits will vary from person to person. Of course, as always, a better score will probably result in a higher limit, and there is a chance the limit could always increase over time. When it comes to fees, this was one area Apple really wanted to highlight. There are no plans for annual fees, international fees, late payment fees, or fees should you happen to exceed your credit limit. And then last, with interest rates, this was the part of the presentation that kind of caught some flack. Apple described the card as having low interest rates. However, after looking at the footnotes on their site, the APR will apparently be between 13.24% and 24.24%. As John Gruber of Daring Fireball mentioned, those interest rates are usury, which is right in line with the rest of the credit card industry. 24% interest, of course, ought to be criminal, and 13% is not low. But when you think about it, the national average APR is 17.67%, so the card might actually be a great deal for those with good credit scores. Plus, cards with a reward system do tend to have higher APRs anyway to make up for the payout, which leads to our next topic, the reward system. Apple's plans are to offer a cashback reward system for the Apple Card, which will provide daily cash up to 3%. You will also be able to get 1% cash back for all of your purchases, which, if you think about it, is actually kind of mediocre when it comes to other cashback credit cards that are available, kind of like Jason Snell points out. Is the Apple Card going to be the best deal for people who are searching for cashback bonuses from their credit card? Certainly not. Just as Apple hardware is never going to be the cheapest in any category. If you want to do the work to find the best deal and redeem the right points in the right places, you have better options. Apple is, however, hoping that a lot of its customers will not be interested in redeeming points and using gift cards and otherwise chasing that deal. Instead, Apple offers up simplicity, sign up for the card right on your phone, privacy, private transactions and no resale of your data to third parties, and convenience, like cashback rewards that appear the same day in Apple Pay Cash, which is a combination that's pretty on brand for Apple. Then, on purchases that are made with Apple Pay, you do get rewarded with 2% cashback, which is Apple's way of encouraging users to use the service when available. But of course, if you happen to make purchases from the Apple Store, either physical or online, you'll get 3% cash back. This would also include any App Store, iTunes, or other Apple services purchases. Apple is also touting its daily cash feature. As any cashback credit card user will know, many companies require you to either wait until the end of the month to get your rewards or wait to have to accrue a certain amount. Not so here. Apple will instead pay out your cash bonuses on a daily basis rather than making you wait. If you have previously signed up for Apple Cash, you will get your daily cash payouts on your Apple Cash card. Note that Apple Cash is required for daily cash. However, if you don't have Apple Cash set up, you'll instead get your rewards on a monthly basis as a credit on your card statement. And when we come back from our next break, we'll talk about how to use that daily cash.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/scriptnoteshow, that's all one word, scriptnoteshow, and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/scriptnoteshow to get started today. Why Audible? Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. And so what we enjoy most about Audible is being able to not only save time, but also money as well with a membership. And you can enjoy books like one of our favorites around here, You Need a Budget. So make sure, again, to go download your free audiobook today at audibletrial.com/scriptnoteshow. Again, that's audibletrial.com/scriptnoteshow for your free audiobook of your choice today.
So when it comes to using that daily cash, the amount of your daily cash balance, which then gets transferred to your Apple Cash card, can be used for Apple Pay purchases, sent to friends or family using the Apple Cash feature and messages, or transferred over to your bank account. The amount of Apple Cash accrued can then be transferred to your bank account at no cost, but note that that process can take 1 to 3 business days. So you can initiate an instant transfer, though that will cost 1% of the total money that gets sent. That fee has a minimum of 25 cents and caps at $10. Some additional notes: when it comes to spend tracking, any transactions made with the Apple Card will be listed in the Wallet app with categories that are color-coded based on the classification of where that purchase gets made. And then Apple also give you weekly and monthly spending summaries. When it comes to purchase notifications, if you're a user of Apple Pay already, you probably are already aware that when you make a purchase with your card, you'll get an instant notification right on your phone. The same will hold true with Apple Card, which will allow you immediate notification if there's a charge that you might not happen to recognize, and it will also include tools for being able to check purchases that might be fraudulent to be able to report them. When it comes to transaction labeling, Apple plans to use machine learning as well as Apple Maps for making sure your card transactions are clearly labeled. So many times, credit card statements will have what might seem like a mysterious code of sorts or some sort of hieroglyphics for your transactions, making it hard to reconcile if you're keeping track of your spending. Instead, transactions will get clearly labeled with what was purchased and where. And then with payment tracking, a great feature of Apple Card will be that it will show you multiple payment options as well as calculating the amount of interest that you'll be paying on different payment amounts in real time. The tool will also encourage customers to pay bit more every month to cut down on interest and will offer the flexibility for scheduling payments in multiple ways, such as weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly rather than just monthly. Then with privacy, you know those privacy use statements you frequently get from your other card issuers? Well, Apple and Goldman Sachs are aiming to alleviate this by not selling your data with third-party marketing or advertising agencies like other institutions. When it comes to Apple Card support, unlike other card issuers that might make you go through many hoops to get any sort of support, Apple Card support will be through the Messages app with support representatives available 24/7. So all you got to do is send a text, and that makes it that much easier for interacting with staff support. As far as the availability and launch, well, Apple didn't provide a specific launch date other than the summer. The card is only planned to launch within the United States to start, so of course it could expand to other countries over time, much in the same way Apple Pay has. Of course, with it being a branded MasterCard, users should pretty much be able to use it anywhere in the world. So overall, the product does seem to be pretty intriguing, especially as a new type of fintech product. Is it revolutionary? Not exactly. But with many cards offering better rewards for mobile payments, including some that offer 3 times the points on all mobile wallet purchases, not just Apple Pay, that's something to consider as well. But the biggest thing to keep in mind is always pay off your balance in full each month. Otherwise, any charged interest rates will end up negating the value of any earned cash back anyway. So if you've got a card with 17% interest and another card that's only paying out 3%, it's not going to matter. So with that, wanted to ask you listeners out there, do you plan to sign up for the card upon the release? Just curious what you might think about it. Do you plan to sign up for it? And especially for any Apple users, what you all think of it out there as well. So with that, just want to thank you again for listening. As always, our listenership continues to expand with each episode. And so if you can, send a comment to Matt at script-notes.com. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well, to reach out with your feedback on the Apple Card. Curious what you think. And if you're listening in via the Anchor app, leave us a voice message. We'll include your comments if you would like in a future episode. And then also, I know sometimes sponsored ad reads can be kind of a drag when it comes to podcasts, so make sure you check out our listener support feature. The more support we get there, the less ad reads we might have to do. It only helps us to scale the show and expand from there and get the word out. So if you can, share the show with friends, family members who you think might be interested. And if you're listening in on Apple Podcasts, if you could rate and review us, so we'd also appreciate that as well. And hope everyone has a great week out there, and we'll talk to you again soon. See ya.